How you doing, Chris?
I am really good, thank you.
Cool, man. Cool. Now, when I go to Amazon and I look up CE Allan, what I find is the ancient ones, Prophecy of Ilat. Did I pronounce that right?
You pronounce it correct, yes.
Solid, right on. So before we get into that, we're recording this on January the 9th, and that's going to be, what is that, like 11 days before our boy gets in office?
I know, right?
So I gotta ask you, man. I don't have no. I don't know. I'm kind of mostly detaching myself from the whole thing. But give me your thoughts, your impressions. How about this? Give me a best case scenario and a worst case scenario for this whole Trump administration. Your thoughts?
I can't think of a best case scenario.
Okay.
Best case scenario is if he does anything crazy that Congress will shut it down.
All right.
What I'm concerned about, if I'm honest with you, is his views on one about nuclear weapons.
All right.
I was always concerned that he seems war hungry, and I'm concerned that his disregard for international relations, that he can potentially cause a war. And that's my biggest concern. I'm still shocked that he actually even won the presidency. I remember when he did get elected, you could hear I'm from Britain.
Yeah.
Everyone from England called me. Everyone or text me saying, "What happened? How did it win? How did he win?" Sorry. It's pretty unbelievable.
Wow. Yeah. People are still in shock. Now, let's be honest. Did they say what happened, or did they say what the?
Oh, yeah, every word under the sun. But they're going through their thing as well because of Brexit as well. Many of them voted and then they realized what they'd done and then they were upset afterwards.
Wow.
I don't think they understood what they did when they came out of Brexit.
Right. Now, see, I think that the same feelings, the same vibration that caused your folks over there to vote for Brexit is the same feeling and vibration that caused people to vote for Trump over here.
Yeah, they want change.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, the whole world was hopeful when Obama came in. He was the golden child. He was the shiny penny. Everybody thought, this guy, he knows what it's like to struggle. I mean, that was the assumption, right?
Yes.
And so he came in, and it was like the second coming of Christ.
Yes.
And then you realize he's just doing the same shit that everybody else did. So I guess from my perspective, I see two things with the Trump thing. For the positive, I think that it'll kind of cause the people on the periphery, the very angry, very ignorant folks, to realize that in a way, no matter who you put in office, there's certain infrastructure in place that kind of keep cranking on, that we're just changing faces, but behind the face is the same thing. So we need more of a substantial change just in terms of governance, right?
Yeah.
One. And so two, I think this kind of, in terms of the economy, I think it's kind of waking people up to the idea of starting businesses and owning property and all this kind of stuff, because maybe the economy might not go the way Trump is telling us. I look at the math and I'm like, how can you bring jobs back when the dollar is kind of taxed so high compared to other currencies, and it's just cheaper? You get quality labor. You know what I mean? It's just like when you do the math, it's like, I don't know, but
I think his idea of bringing back jobs is stopping large companies from putting jobs overseas.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as he says, he's going to put strict tax laws on them, so they have to bring it back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much that's going to work to really improve the economy.
Yeah.
I'm a bit skeptical because, again, the other side of the coin is many companies won't survive if they couldn't get the cheaper labor abroad.
Well, that's true. That's very true.
How they make the profit? They won't be able to,
Mm-hmm.
And so bringing those, I don't see how it's going to work.
Yeah.
Because he himself does business abroad. He don't talk about it,
mm-hmm.
but it's proven that he's got businesses. He does business abroad.
True.
you know. So I'm not too optimistic about his economy plans, but we'll see. I don't think he will do anything too much to damage it at the moment.
No, I mean, I think no matter who you put in there, there's what I call a continuity of policy that kind of remains the same kind of thing. You know, that somehow I think this year, the wonderful thing about this whole election cycle is that it shows us that the only people who vote for the president is the people in the Electoral College.
Oh my gosh, exactly. It was ridiculous. And correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I've learned about the Electoral College, there's 538 people within it, and they're all members of Congress, and only their vote counts. So I didn't get to vote because I'm only a resident alien. I'm not a citizen. But all the citizens that voted, really, it's a waste of time.
It's just ceremonial. And
so
it didn't dawn on us.
Go out to vote, your vote counts. It's bullshit, right?
Absolutely. Now here's the thing that's interesting. In my neighborhood, the local city council passed a rule, ordinance that says that resident aliens or immigrants can vote in local elections here.
Really?
Yeah, I was blown away. So, wow. I mean,
I guess local elections are different, but it's the national one that counts.
I suppose, but so like you said, I mean, the people in Electoral College, there's mostly, people in Congress. There's like, for example, Bill Clinton, the former president, he's part of Electoral College. Okay. They're mayors, they're lobbyists, right?
Yes.
Basically, the party faithfuls are the members of the Electoral. That's why it's hard for a third party to get in there, because the people who are actually voting are either Democrat or Republican. You know what I mean? So when there's a small group of people that controls everything, what's that called? A plutocracy or something?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now, over in Britain, do y'all have the same thing? Or is it just us that are crazy out here?
Because obviously there's no states. It's just the one country.
Right.
It's just whoever gets the most votes wins.
Wow.
And that's the way it should be.
That's interesting, man. That's interesting. So, is there voting in your novel? In the Ancient One's world that you're building, is there voting there? It probably makes more sense than what we got over here in America, man. Let's get off of the Trump thing, man. I always want to hear people's opinion on it, only because Trump seems to be the boogeyman, right?
Oh, he's the topic of the season, and I'm on Twitter a lot, and man, most tweets are just about him, and he's active on Twitter a lot himself.
Can you tell me why he tweets more? Can you tell me why he tweets more than my teenage daughter?
I don't know, man. I think he's a very petty man.
Dude is 70-some years old. He's more active on social media than Obama.
For him to go out his way to talk about how his viewership was higher than Arnold Schwarzenegger's for The Apprentice is unbelievably petty.
You know it's going to happen, right? It's going to happen, right? There's going to be some big event. Well, after, he's going to be president for a couple months, right? Then there's going to be some big event. But then there's going to be like a special episode of Apprentice. And he's going to talk about that shit first. And then he's going to say, oh, yeah, Putin's here. You know what I mean? Something crazy like that.
Now, also, again, the relationship with Putin and the way he speaks so highly of Putin all the time and Russia, it's pretty unbelievable to me that he's doing that. It blows me away.
It is crazy. Now, over there, go ahead.
I understand there's people that voted for him, and I've heard their views, and I respect everyone's views. Mm-hmm. But I don't understand how you can justify someone that America's had. What's the right word for it? There's always been a competitive edge between the USA and Russia.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden to make out that you and Russia are such good buddies is just unbelievable. It just don't make no sense to me. I don't know how you justify it. I do not understand how you could justify it. It's unbelievable to me.
It's crazy.
But on the other side of the coin, though, I'm hearing from intelligence, they're saying that Russian hackers are the ones that provided the information to WikiLeaks, etc. Mm-hmm. I do because I'm not the sort of person that just believes everything I read. I want solid evidence.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see the solid evidence. I want you to convince me to the point where I'm saying there's no way that Russia didn't get involved. That's the sort of information that I want, and they're not providing that for us. So I'm not satisfied that Russia did get involved enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So let's say that the quote unquote evidence, I'm making air quotes, let's say the evidence that Russia is manufactured. So what would be the modus? What would be the reason behind trying to make Russia the bad guy in this scenario?
What would be the motive to make Russia the bad guy?
Yeah. In other words, it seems like, okay, the reason why, Hillary lost and Trump won is because of Russia. I mean, that's the narrative that I think the media, part of the media is, or at least the government is trying to spin.
Yeah, I read about there are certain laws that America, I can't remember exactly what it was, that some embargoes that America has put up against Russia, and it was to do with Exxon oil.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly what it was, and I wish I did.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that, and then it's no coincidence now the Secretary of State is the ex-CEO of Exxon Oil. I don't know if there's any connection to that.
I saw that. That was amazing.
Yeah, so I saw that.
I have a cousin who has this saying: "If it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense."
Yeah,
and so I'm sure that there's some kind of profit motive to hire these CEOs that have no political experience into these offices where they were. Yeah,
I'm convinced there is, and we won't know until we see certain things happen.
Yeah. But I mean, again, even in all of this, I think there's opportunities. There's a book that I like to listen to called The Iron Heel. Okay. It's a book by Jack London. It's really the only book of his. Well, it's the only writing of his that I've listened to probably like 50 times, and it kind of talks about the oligarchy in America and around the different countries, and then the socialists and the workers and the overthrow and the whole bit. And so it has a real political spin, but the gist of the story is about two soulmates, right? This girl who was kind of from a wealthy family, and this guy who was like this street preacher, politician kind of guy, and they kind of got together and they became these revolutionaries. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, even in this seemingly dark climate that Trump may usher in, there's still opportunity for creativity. There's still opportunity for people to get their point across in different works and so forth like that. In the past, I think that art has reflected life. But I feel like with the social media and with the ebooks and everything, I feel like art can impress, can influence life. I feel like maybe some of you guys can kind of help change, writers like yourself can kind of help change the way people think, and maybe you could push it the other direction.
Yeah, I think art's had an influence on people for years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
For years. I grew up watching movies on Greek mythology, Star Wars. Star Wars is the big one for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it had a massive impression on me. I don't think it was for films like that I would never be able to even write my book.
What kind of impression, can you quantify how important Star Wars was to you?
It had all the elements of the hero's journey, which you see within not just movies, but even within spiritual books, where you have someone that is born in some sort of supernatural way. They have to find themselves, and then once they find themselves, they go on their journey, but they have to learn certain things throughout the journey. And then how can I put it? Oh, sorry, I'm a bit lost.
That's fine.
It's about the journey of overcoming certain things, and then certain things that they have in common, even including sometimes they have to die and then come back to life.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain elements of the hero story that Star Wars kind of had the father and son relationship as well. Star Wars has, the prophecy, the chosen one. Star Wars has as well.
Yep.
I think the beauty of Star Wars is, even though it's got a lot of deep elements in it, at the heart of it, it's an action adventure. It's an action and adventure story.
Yeah.
Which I think captured everyone during that generation. I don't think some of the young people appreciate Star Wars as much as the people my age and older.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting you say that. Let's see, I was taken to the theater. See, back then I think the first one came out in 74 or something. So I was in elementary.
79, I think.
It was 79? The first one, A New Hope?
78, 79.
Okay. So I was in elementary school, and my mom took me, and me and my little sister. And it was a beautiful movie, but I didn't understand how heavy it was until years later. I mean, I think, and I'm kind of taking this from a commentary I heard from a writer, a journalist named Mumia Abu-Jamal, a terrific journalist, a political prisoner. And he basically said that one of the reasons why Star Wars was so impactful in the 70s is because America was having a crisis of identity, like identity crisis. We had the war going on and different things. Nixon was their Trump kind of thing. Yeah. And when we looked at Star Wars, when I say we, the adults back then, so they looked at Star Wars, they saw themselves as the rebels, right? Yeah. And then, the evil empire was, when in actuality, we was the empire. Yeah. And the brown people that we was dropping bombs on, they was the rebels. But we didn't want to admit that. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, that's so deep. You know what I mean? And so that's why people clung to that so hard, because they didn't want to look in the mirror for real. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think that movies like that and books like that, you know what I mean, it can really tell us a lot about the individual, the character. I mean, it's heavy, man. It's heavy. Yeah, it's heavy. Yeah. Now, you did mention hero's journey, and some books is easier to see those plot points than others. I mean, when you write, do you follow that like strictly, or do you kind of fudge the edges a little bit? Tell me about how you craft the story. When I write, I kind of got I've got an sort of idea of an overview. What happens is I think of a scenario of something traumatic that happens. And I focus on one character and I just follow their journey of what happens, what they do. It's like I'm in I don't know if you could say a dream state, but I'm just following what they do, and I write down what I see, and then I write down what actions they take. I write down what they say. I actually don't plot. I don't know what's going to happen. Wow. I just follow the story throughout until it ends. So you're the first fan. You're the first fan to read your book. Technically, yes, because I can write something, and then I see something that happens, and I'll be shocked. And I'll be like, no way. I can't believe it. I don't even want to write it. But I have to write it because it's the story. Wow. You've been writing a while. Have you ever heard the phrase "kill your darlings"? Oh yes, and I do kill my darlings. I absolutely do. If I don't like something, I'll start all over again. To me, that's some painful shit right there. It used to be at first, but now it isn't. Really? It's just a part of the process. Because, for example, because I follow my character and I see what they do, one decision that they make can end up getting them killed. So I have to go back in time and make them start all over again. So that they can make a different decision, and then you follow out, and then you see what happens when they make that different decision. Wow. So, no, I don't mind killing my darlings. It's just part of the process. That's something, man. I think killing your darlings would be more painful if you have to write, if you're a person that has to write under a deadline and you've got to have your book done within a certain time period. Okay. Then the pressure's on you. Yeah. Because you don't want to throw away too much, and you don't want to have to kill so much. You don't want to have to throw away so many chapters. I technically don't do that. But what I do, I will say, is I don't actually throw away my chapters. I put them in a separate folder. And sometimes I can write something, and then
and something I wrote before can fit into what I'm writing afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So that happens a lot as well.
Okay. Okay. So was this a process when you wrote The Ancient Ones, the Prophecy of the Ilat, Volume 1?
Interestingly, the very first time I wrote it, I tried to plot. I did all the plotting, and I tried to structure it like as if it was a movie with hitting certain points. So you've got your beginning, you've got your middle, you've got your ending,
Mm-hmm.
and the book sucked. It was absolutely terrible. So I rewrote it. I scrapped the whole thing, and I started again, just using the natural process of without plotting, just following the character's journey, and it was a lot better for me.
Wow,
it was much better.
What was the most, now when you write? Is there like an emotional engagement, or are you just kind of like a observer, kind of just watching from above? I mean, when you write.
I'm an observer, and there's an emotional connection because everything I write, my characters are it's like they're real to me.
Okay.
So there's definitely an emotional element there, because if they're sad, I can feel that sorrow. If heartbroken, I can feel it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely an emotional connection.
That's something. I saw this tweet by this guy that said, it's the writer's job to make their character's life as miserable as possible. Do you agree with that?
Yes, to a point.
Okay.
But I understand what he's saying, because it makes the story interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because when everything just keeps going wrong, and sometimes life can be like that, right? Just everything keeps going wrong, and you just got to keep walking forward. You've got to keep moving forward until something works out right. And yes, I hear where he's coming from, because that's what makes the story interesting. Because you want to know how they're going to overcome it.
Right. Now, of course, I replied back to the brother, if that's true, then we can't go bitching to God now, can we?
Absolutely not. You can't, right?
Oh, man, we got it from someplace, man. I mean, I remember writing, working on this section of the story in the coffee house. I'm sitting in the middle, all these college kids around me, you know what I mean? I'm just writing. And I come to this place where, one of the characters loses somebody that he loves in a very terrible way. And, I think it was dusty in there because my eyes got a little, I think it was just dust and wind that got in my eyes. It was like, fuck, man, I can't be doing it. But I had to finish writing the scene. And I'm, you know what I mean? That's why I asked you, are you just watching? Because I was, like you said, I was feeling what the brother was feeling. And I was like, God damn, man, let me hear him finish writing this scene, man. I'm looking like a fool out here. So you said that you kind of let the process go naturally. Yes. But I'm sure do you give yourself deadlines? Is there milestones? I mean, describe the process a little bit.
The first book, yes, I did. The second book, I have been taking my time with it, but I have said to myself, this year I'm going to complete 3 books. So I have given myself a deadline.
Beautiful.
Year. But last year I kind of didn't, because I was caught up with so many other projects at the same time. Okay. But this year, no, I definitely want to be releasing a few books this year. I want to be releasing at least 3 books this year.
Mm-hmm. Tell us about The Ancient Ones, Prophecy of the Ilat.
Okay, so it's a story about a girl who is a descendant of an alien race that controls this planet. Mm-hmm. And to give you a bit further background, do you know much about the Sumerian tablets and Sumerian mythology?
I've been a YouTube expert for a while now.
Okay, so you'll know enough that there was a guy called Zecharia Sitchin who read.
Yep, I know Zecharia Sitchin. Yep, definitely.
Okay. So you'll know his interpretation that Nibiru is a planet which was once in our solar system.
Yep. And
it got destroyed through war, and that they called them the Anunnaki.
Yep.
Which means which come from the sky or whatever, came to Earth, and they manipulated the DNA of the Homo erectus and created humans and made them their slave race.
Yep.
Basically, my story is based on that philosophy.
Oh, that's dope.
So,
Okay, that's dope. All right.
because it's never been done before. And
Nope.
what blows me away is it's the oldest, the first mythology there ever is.
Hmm.
Every mythology you can think of comes from Sumerian mythology.
Mm-hmm.
And even most religions have stories that come from the Sumerian texts.
Hmm.
It's pretty unbelievable. So you'll know of Anubis and Enki and whatever. So this girl is a descendant of the Anunnaki. I don't really use the word. The ancient ones technically are the Anunnaki.
Mm-hmm.
What happens is that at the beginning of the story, there's a man called Joseph Collins, and he gets a phone call that one of the leaders, one of the Anunnaki, one of the leaders of the Anunnaki, have his family hostage. And Kai, I'm not to go into too much detail, but basically, the alien kills all of them.
Hmm.
Story force fast forward 14 years later, and then you find out that the child, who was 6 years old at the time, but now she's 20, actually survived, but no one knows that she survived.
Wow.
And I've created different realms and worlds. So you know how, say in Christianity, you believe there's a heaven and there's a hell.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain, I've created different dimensions. So one will be Eden, which will represent kind of like heaven, but it's another world to itself.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have Earth, where we live, and then the third realm, which some people might call hell. I named it Agartha, which is a place where some people believe that the Earth's hollow,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a world there.
Wow, you dealt with that one too? That's cool,
Yeah.
man. Wow.
So
Okay.
the only way you could get access to these realms are through if you're on Earth, there are portals under the Earth,
Mm-hmm.
within labyrinths under the Earth, and they're the only way to get access to them. So this girl is in another realm. She's in the realm of Eden.
Mm-hmm.
The person who rescues her comes to see her 14 years later. She's now 20 years old. She's going to bring her back to the second realm, Earth, back to her home in New York, where she could start to live her life as normal again. She doesn't need to be in hiding no more.
Okay.
Where the story kicks in is that the people that tried to kill her, the alien people that tried to kill her family in the first place, find out she's still alive.
Mm-hmm.
They go out their way to kill the girl.
Wow.
And she has to do everything in her power to survive. And the story is, how does she survive? And what does she do to stop it?
Man, that is very cool. I mean, I've watched several lectures with Zecharia Sitchin and all the stuff that he taught. And there's other people that kind of claim him, as an inspiration. And the thing about those guys, even the Hollow Earth people, I can't deal with the flat Earth, but the Hollow Earth people, yeah. I mean, it's so beautiful how, they give you just enough science, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then after a while it gets real fuzzy. And so that's beautiful, because I kind of believe that in the ancient world, there probably was a time when religion and science were the same thing. You know what I mean? Science was just catching up with religion kind of, just like Einstein, he would imagine stuff and then try to come up with the math to figure it out.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So it sounds like that's what you're doing in this. It's nice that you're taking these themes that have been kind of floating around different circles and kind of, mixing them all in this kind of pot. That's cool, man. That's cool.
And it's very scientific as well, in terms of they have vast scientific knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
The girl, you could call because she's a descendant, she's a hybrid. So the hybrids, they go to special schools where they get vast knowledge, scientific knowledge.
Wow.
And through that knowledge, they have powers.
Mm-hmm.
So their power is limited to what their knowledge is. If it could be scientifically done, they can do it.
Wow.
So if they can teleport, it's because it could scientifically be done. Does that make sense? So
yeah.
So their power is dependent on practice and knowledge of what they do.
Okay. So there's no true magic in the worlds that you're building? It's just science?
It's technically science. I named it Kishbu because all the words I use are Sumerian words.
Okay, wow.
So even so, prophecy of the Ilat means supreme one.
Okay.
So it's all Sumerian. So no, they can do what they can do because they know how to do it.
Gotcha.
It's almost like if we went back 100 years ago and they ever saw an iPhone, they'll think it's magic.
Exactly right. That's true.
You understand what I mean? But it's not magic to us. We understand the technology. It's just normal to us.
Wow.
You understand what I mean? So that's how it is for them. They're so much more advanced than us that they understand how to do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
They've evolved in a way that humans haven't. And what I do put in the book is they can't evolve because the world has been set up in a way for their minds to be imprisoned.
Wow.
Our minds are limited. Our beliefs are limited. And it's because certain things like religion, sort of politics and everything else, our society is structured in a way that we cannot, it limits our beliefs.
Wow. It sounds like there are some parables in your book. Wow. That's cool, man. That's cool. So I noticed that on Amazon there's volume 1. And so you're working on volume 2 now?
I'm almost finished volume 2. I think there's going to be about 3 or 4 books. Okay.
Same protagonist?
It's the same protagonist, yes.
That's cool. And her name?
Her name is Tiana.
Okay. Now, is that one of your children's names? Be honest.
Yes. One of my daughters. Her name is Tia. So I kind of formed it off one of my daughters.
That's nice, man. Yeah, I put my kids in some of the books and everything. Yeah. That's cool, man. That's cool. Listen, this has been really interesting. So when I think about what you told me about the book, I mean, there's an old saying, any technology sufficiently advanced is indistinguishable from magic. So that goes to your point. If we were to say, let's say your book were to be a movie, is there a movie out there that's similar in essence to what you've created in the ancient ones?
The closest might be The Matrix.
Okay.
Because again, The Matrix has got that hero journey of the chosen one, and he ends up dying, and when he's reborn again, he's super powerful. You know what I mean? He's got all those. But it's kind of different. I will say, and you'll even see it in some of the reviews. My story is very original. There's really nothing like it.
I've never seen anybody write stuff with a basis with the Sitchin basis. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, there is. It is very different. It does have aspects of anime in it in terms of the action.
Really?
Yeah, because there's a lot of fight scenes and there's a lot of violence.
All right, so that means the fellas will enjoy it.
Yeah, it's definitely the heart of the story is an action and adventure, but it's got lots of deep elements to it, kind of like Star Wars. Okay,
gotcha. I almost so the main character is probably I don't know why. What's that old anime? When I hear what you're saying about Tiana, I'm thinking of is it Aeon Flux? Axion Flux.
I know what you're talking. Yeah.
Very action oriented. The technology was crazy up there, but I'm wondering.
And I make sure that the character was a mixed sister as well.
Oh, that's greatly appreciated. That's greatly appreciated. Yeah, I love the cover. The cover is hot.
Yeah,
the cover is hot. I don't know why I feel like going into this, but this morning I dropped my son off at the airport.
Yeah,
my son is studying Japanese and business in Japan.
Wow.
And he's been wanting to do it. You mentioned anime. He got turned on to like Naruto back in the day, and the anime thing, and then of course it was the girls, you know what I mean, and everything. And so now he's over there studying, and I'm so glad. It sounds, but I'm so glad that he's gone. and I guess I'm going back to the political thing because I feel like, I want some of my kids away from here. Maybe I'm connecting to you on a fatherly level. I'm kind of glad some of my kids are away from here because, things might get tight around the country. You know what I mean? Have you ever thought about traveling? I know you traveled here, but you ever thought about, I noticed that there's a lot of expats online nowadays. Hey, come to Colombia. Hey, come to this place. Come to this place. You ever thought about traveling and stuff? I mean, with a writer, you can travel, right?
Yeah, no, I do. I've traveled a bit. I've been to Thailand. I've been to parts of Asia. I've been to the Middle East. I've been around Europe. I've been all around America. I've even traveled to Hawaii. So people in England travel a lot. It's just natural. It's a different culture over there. You don't live to work. You work to live.
Wow, that's exactly the opposite of America.
Exact opposite of America. People work from 9 to 5. When they finish, they're done. Where when you're over here, you just work all the hours God gives you, and it's all about work, 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 work. And then people get vacation time, and they're even scared to take it. Where in England, you get a standard of 5 weeks.
Wow,
that's the standard.
You don't have to work like 20 years to build that up.
No, not at all. You get 5 weeks, and to travel abroad from England is very inexpensive because I guess England's centered to everywhere around the world.
Yeah.
So people in England travel all the time. It's very rare you'll meet someone from England that isn't very well traveled.
Wow. That's something. Yeah, where he is, I mean, he's a hop, skip, and a jump from, I guess, New Zealand, Australia, Korea, even China, I suppose.
Yeah, very nice. Japan is somewhere I haven't visited yet, and I definitely want to. I will be visiting there very soon.
Yeah, my son is, he likes to do films. He does little YouTube videos. He wants to be kind of like an action star kind of thing, right? Awesome. And he told me at one time they was filming a chase scene, right? Him and his college buddies, they were dressed up in werewolf costumes. They had toy plastic guns, and they found this like abandoned road, and they're driving and filming and everything. And they got pulled over by the cops with military assault weapons. I was like, "Are you serious?" Yeah, it was dressed up in werewolf costumes. Okay, so my son tells me he walks past the cops. He was going to the gym. He walked past the cops in Japan, in this city, and he said they smiled, they bowed, and they stepped out of his way and let him walk past. I was like, "Are you serious?" I said, "They treat you like a human." So I guess I said all that to say I know that some countries do some things better than America in terms of, maybe the capitalism piece might be done. I know healthcare is definitely done better in other places. I think that some countries do things better. Like, for example, what do you think that England does better? You always mentioned like the life-work balance. You would say that's better in England?
Yeah, definitely better. And also, if you're a woman and you are pregnant, you can get 6 months of maternity leave paid.
Wow.
It's huge.
Do you guys still have the National Healthcare Service over there? Has that been privatized?
They do, but what I will say is a government-run National Health Service is not very good.
Really?
In terms of the doctors and nurses, I believe, are underpaid, so they don't want to really do their job properly.
Okay.
And you could go to the hospital and you could be waiting there for hours before they see you. Service is terrible, where over here I find the service is far better.
So maybe some kind of hybrid between government run and
between the two. But what I will say is drugs are a lot more inexpensive in England than they are over here. They rip you off with the price of drugs. I don't believe that these pharmacies need to make that much profit on these drugs.
Right.
A good example is I had an aunt that came from Florida to London, and there was a cream that she needed, and we were able to get it. Say in terms of dollars, it was about $10 at the pharmacy in England.
Okay.
In Florida, she had to pay $150 for this same cream.
God damn. Yeah, I've been there.
Of the creams to take back with her. But that's an example where they don't need to make that much money off the drugs. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. What about housing? Is the pricing of housing comparable? Is it reasonable over there?
England's far more expensive than America. There's no comparison.
Gas really?
Gas is like $9 a gallon.
Damn.
So, yeah, it's ridiculous. House prices for what you get is far more expensive because they're very small, and London's very crowded as well.
Now I heard that London was like New York or something, but I thought outside of London it's not reasonable.
London's not much larger than Great Adventure.
Wow.
Okay, and there's about 9 million people that live there, but people that work and commute through London, over 21 million. So it's crowded. It's a crowded place.
Yeah.
And very multicultural as well, which a lot of people wouldn't realize.
Mm-hmm.
I know when I speak to people, the perception is that it's all white people. It's not true at all. There's every culture you could think of under the sun in that place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I gotta get on TV or podcast or something, man. We all I see is my daughter watches. What's that show? Keeping Up Appearances.
Yes.
Ain't no colored people on there, man.
When it comes to race relations, and equality in terms of minorities versus whites, England's 50 years behind America.
Damn.
It's very, very bad.
Wow.
Very, very bad.
But y'all had them protests over there, though. I saw them Black Lives Matter protests and stuff.
Yeah, I've seen that they're doing a few protests, but they've still got a long way to go. And I think what's the worst part is that it's the mentality. I think that you get a lot of kids growing up, black kids growing up, not believing that they can make something of their life unless they're in the music industry or if they're a sports star.
Yeah.
They don't understand that they could study and become something else much more.
Right.
But in England, though, they will hold you back, though, if you are black, because you don't fit in.
Wow.
They don't fit in. They're not going to promote you up the ranks. And when I think about it, there's only one friend who's black who has made it in the corporate world back in England. She's the only one. Where everyone else that I know who has succeeded either runs their own business or they made it in sports and music.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's something, man. That's something.
Yeah.
That's something. Well, I want to thank y'all for Luther. That's my favorite TV show with Idris Elba.
I love Luther. I love Luther, and Idris does a fantastic job.
He does, man. He's one of the best actors out there, and I heard that he's starting a film company called Green Door or something.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So I hope he continues to go from strength to strength. Listen, Chris, man, I know we've gone all over the place, man, but just tell the people how they can find your book, The Ancient Ones, The Prophecy of Ilat.
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 You can find it on Amazon. You can find it through Goodreads as well. Maybe the easiest way to find it is type CE Allan, Allan on Google, and it will come up.
Okay, righteous. Now, is it just an electronic book? Can you get it in paperback as well?
You could get it in paperback as well, yes.
Righteous. Cool, man. And where are you on social media? And tell us your website.
My website is ceallan.com, and I am on Twitter, author CE Allan. I'm active on Twitter all the time.
Yeah, I follow you on Twitter, man. And there was one thing you posted. You got some politics stuff in there and some silly stuff too, man. So